In this episode, I'm going to illustrate a dozen or so IUL policies and their actual performance ending February of 2025. Most of these policies were just linked for a one-year period from February of 2024 to February 2025. I think one had a two-year linking period, and I'll point out that one. But these are actual results. Some are pretty doggone impressive because they are using multipliers. So get ready. I think you're going to be blown away. I do this every month now to show actual performance of real IUL policies. And so you're going to be impressed with this month's results. So I'm Doug Andrew, and I've been a financial strategist and retirement planning specialist now for north of 5 decades, helping thousands of Americans optimize their assets and minimize taxes and empower their authentic wealth. So I'm going to show you some actual results ending February 2025 right now. And as you see these, I'm going to try to explain the difference between why some are only getting 8 or 10%, or some are getting 21 to 25% because they're using a multiplier. So I'm going to go through, it looks like about a dozen or more here for you, okay? So this particular client had $3,300 linked to a one-year index, okay, in his or her policy, $3,700 in a one-year high cap, and another $3,200 in a one-year high par. So that's about, about $10,000. On that $10,000 in one single year, this client got credited on $3,300 8%, but this client used what is called a multiplier. A multiplier is where you decide, hey, I think the market's going to go up. So instead of, if the market crashes, not losing any money, I'm willing to give up 5% or maybe 7.5%. I don't want to lose 40% like 2008, but I want to cap what I might lose if I guess wrong. And so the insurance company is able to use 5% more of this cash to buy upside options to be able to pay you a multiplier. The multiplier might be 2.4, 2.1, or 2.7 times whatever the S&P did. This client got credited 8 times 2.7, got actually $732 credited on that $3,300. This $3,700 got credited 10% times 2.4 multiplier, got $905. 6.25% got credited, or times 2.7, that's $544. When you add up those that interest that they earned in 1 year, that's $2,182 divided into the about 10 grand. That's a 21.1% annual rate of return, tax-free on their IUL. People experience this all the time, whether they have hundreds of thousands or millions in this, or if they only have 3,000 or 4,000 in it, as I'm going to show you. Okay, here's another client. They were diversified, very conservative, and they had their money diversified in 5 different indices. 82,000 got credited 6.32%. That's $5,200. 82,000 got credited 7.25% tax-free. Another 82,000 got credited 2.81. Another 82,000 got credited 8.81. That's $7,300. And they had 38,000 that was just earning the general account portfolio rate of 4.65. When you add all those up, they're probably averaging right in that 7.5 range, tax-free. And so this is a very conservative client that's just happy with a 8% tax-free rate of return, because that would be like earning, 11 or 12% in a tax-deferred IRA or 401k. Here's another client. They have 8,600 in a one-year index, 9,000 in a one-year high cap, and 4,200 in a one-year high par. So if we add those up, 17, we have maybe 21,000 or more. And so 8,600 got credited 8%. But they didn't use a multiplier, so they got 8. Okay, this 8,500 got 10%, just 10. They didn't use a multiplier, and this one got 6.25%. When you add all those up, they got credited $1,868 in 1 year. Okay, one 12-month period. So that's 8.5% average, tax-free, and many clients are very happy because 8% tax-free would be like earning maybe 12% in a tax-deferred IRA or 401k. Okay, here's another one. This one has 4,200 in a one-year index, 4,100 in a one-year volatility control index, and 4,100 in a one-year high par volatility index, okay? Now, so this 4,200 got credited 10%, and they didn't use a multiplier. 4,100 got 10.47, and 4,100 got 11.64. When you add all those up, that's $1,346 on about 12,000 bucks. So that's a 10.8% annual return, tax-free on that money. Okay, these rates of return are very common. Many of our clients earn these rates of return year in and year out. Okay, that's by coming in and having annual reviews and having the policy structured correctly. Here's a client that had 2,700 in a one-year index, 2,800 in a one-year high cap, and 2,100 in a high par index. And so they got credited 8%, but they chose a multiplier, not an expensive one, but they got 1.7 times 8% on this money, 1.6 times 10% on this portion, and 1.7 times that. And so they got credited $1,398 on that approximate, 9,000. It's 18.16% annual rate of return, tax free. Not bad. And they're actually being pretty conservative with the multiplier. Okay. Here's another one, 3,000 in the 1 year, 3,100 in a 1 year high cap, and 1,400 in a 1 year high par. This is called diversification. On this one, they got 8%, but they chose the multiplier that charges a 7.5% fee. So after subtracting the fee, they ended up with $3,600, $3,687 to be exact. On 3,100, they got credited, and they ended up with $3,800. That's the end result, okay? And on this $1,476, they got credited 6.25 times 2.7. So they earned $1,668 on what? About $7,000. That's a 21.8% annual return, tax-free. And this client only has about $7,000. Okay, you don't have to have hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars in a lot of these examples that I'm showing you. Okay, here's another client, very, very conservative. Okay, they just wanted to diversify into three. This one had $106,900. They got 6.32% in 1 year. This one had another $106,000. Okay, they got credited 6.5%, tax free, and then $110,000. Stayed in the general account portfolio. They were feeling bearish about America, probably. They got 4.65. So you add those up, and this client is averaging 5.5–6% tax-free, which they're very, very happy with. Here's another one that used an inexpensive multiplier. They didn't go for a maximum of like 2.7 times. This is 2.1, okay? This client only had $3,222 in their IUL policy in February of 2024. 1 year later, that $3,200 got credited $553.08. They got credited 8% times 2.1. And so when you do the math, that's a 17.16% net rate of return of the fees of using the multiplier. Not bad. Okay, here's a client that used a 2 year on a portion of their money. They waited 2 years before they saw what the increase in the index was. So this client had $637,000. Okay, they got credited 10% in a 1 year, and then it was times by 2.4, a multiplier. So they got credited $155,000 on that $637,000. On the other $483,000, so it sounds like it was about a 60-40 split. That was in a 2 year index. That got credited 17% times 2.7. They made $222,000, okay, on $483,000. So when you add up that's $377,000 they made in interest. You divide that into the million they had in there, and we're talking about a 33.7% tax-free rate of return, net of all fees of doing the multiplier. Okay, not bad. This person has $1 million in there. Okay, here's another one. It looks like they have just 1,600, 1,700, and 800. So we are talking, probably just a little over $3,000. They only have $3,000 in their policy. And they got credited 8% on this 1600. That's times 2.7. This is just a small little policy. Another 1733 got credited 10% times 2.4 multiplier. This one got on 800 bucks, 6 1/4 times 2.7, 138. So you take $923 of interest they earned in 1 year on about $3,100. That equals a 21.6% tax-free return in 1 single year, even though this is a dinky little policy with just over 3,000 bucks in it. Okay, it doesn't matter if you have millions or just a few thousand. You getting the message? Here's another one, 2,100 1-year index, 19,000 in a 1-year high cap, and 2,000 in a 1-year high par. So they were going for this one, the 1-year high cap index. On the first one with 2,100, they got 8% times 2.7. But on the 19,800, about 20 grand, they got 10% times 2.4 multiplier. So they made really well on that one. And on 2,000, they got 6 1/4 times 2.7. So this client got $5,645 of interest, tax-free, on how much money? Okay, we have about 24,000 in the policy at the beginning of February of 2024, the beginning of the 12-month period. They made 5,600, which is a 23.5% rate of return in 1 single year on that policy. These are very common, and if you do not understand multipliers and how we're able to do this, you need to learn, because you're missing out. If your IUL policy is not performing like this, hello, that's a red flag. So first of all, you ought to study my book, The Laser Fund. The Laser Fund is a property structured, max funded, indexed universal life. And in this book, in chapters 6 through 9, you can learn about index strategies and diversifying so that you can achieve results like I've been going through here in this episode. We do this all the time. I post this every single month showing a dozen or so actual IUL policies achieving these results. So you could buy this 300-page book on Amazon for, $20 up to $60. If you do, thank you, but I'll gift you a copy for free, but I do require a little skin in the game. If you go to laserfund, laserfund.com, or click on the link below, you contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I'll cover the rest of that, and I'll pay for the book. I'll fire out a hard copy to you via priority mail. And if you're left brain, you will love the white covered side. This is about 200 pages, 14 chapters with all the charts and graphs and explanations if you're a left brain learner. If you're a right brain learner, you learn more by stories. You flip it over to this book. This is 12 chapters, about 100 pages with 62 actual client stories, okay? If you want to use your whole brain, then you can use your left and right brain, okay? Now, when you're in there claiming your free copy, if you want to attend a free educational webinar, we do those every single week. No charge, no cost, no obligation. But you can even schedule an appointment with a certified IUL professional to see how a property structured max funded IUL performs in your particular set of circumstances so you can achieve rates of return like I've been talking about.